Let's commence. Thank you, everybody. Warm welcome. Thank you for joining today um, in this webinar, which is all about ServiceNow process optimization. And it's our goal today to present and show to you how process optimization works, give you a decent background, and how the technology can drive improvements within your own, obviously, ServiceNow workflows. So today's meeting will be recorded, and afterwards you will be provided with the link to the recording for you to share, to look back yourself, obviously. Let's kick it off with the presenters. First of all, I'm honored to introduce our main speaker of today to you, which is Joost van Poppel from ServiceNow. He is an advisory solution consultant within the platform intelligence domain. So yeah, definitely the right man for the job today. So Joost, thank you very much. Very happy to have you in the call and to share your knowledge with us, obviously, and for collaborating and presenting with us together.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot. Also, Jason Monso in the call, and Jason is one of our senior solution consultants, Cloud People, and he will be demoing a process optimization use case for you during this webinar.
Hello.
So last and least, my name is Jeroen Lammers. I'm part of the proposition management team at the Cloud People, and in that role, I'm involved with basically any services we develop and perform relating to process optimization, as well as other areas of smart technology that are part of the ServiceNow platform. So today, when we look at the agenda, Joost, first of all, will provide you with an introduction to process optimization, and then followed by the use case demo presented by Jason. We'll finalize the story. After these presentations, we'll have some time for Q&A, provide you with some takeaways. So obviously, feel free to address any questions you have or you might have that might come up during the session. You might be new to Livestorm, the platform that we are working on at the moment. So in case you're new, you're using it for the first time, I have some tips and tricks for you to share. You can submit a question by using the questions button that you have to your disposal at the bottom right side of the screen. So please feel free to use this button, ask away. Some of you already discovered it. And we are also enlightening you with 3 quick polls during the session. You just got the first one already. We will publish 2 more, and these are most of all to gain an understanding of your ideas around process optimization and any potential future plans that you have with this technology. So before handing over to Joost, and also for those unaware, please allow me to quickly cover some key characteristics of the Cloud People. We operate on a global scale with offices in both Europe and the United States. We specialize in both ServiceNow and Google Cloud platforms. Obviously, today we will focus more on the ServiceNow organization, given the subject. We are a ServiceNow elite partner. We have a team of about 200 and growing consultants in the field, consisting of process and solution consultants, architects, and project managers. We have a large competence center in Poland, where also our support and managed services center is located. And what we aim for in the ServiceNow market is most of all helping our customers to adopt ServiceNow functionality and in order to modernize and automate their environment. And so what we see in the market is that, let's say the pace of innovation on the ServiceNow platform is high, which is great, but adoption of the technology often falls short. And that's causing a value gap. And what we try to help customers with is to bridge this gap within several key domains of ServiceNow. That include service operations, but also CSM and other key domains. Obviously, process optimization is one of those technologies that we help to basically inform our customers about and to show them the value it can bring. So we staff our projects based on a smart resourcing concept, as we call it. And we are working on a portal to provide our customers access to our pool of resources. So it's kind of a transparency thing towards our customers for them in order to see, what kind of resources we have available. So it allows them to find the right consultant for the right job, basically. that could be a combination of both local and nearshore consultants, for example, from our competence center, also to get to a competitive price level. So that's kind of the quick introduction of the cloud people. So without further ado, happy to hand it over to Joost, and let's explore process optimization.
Okay, thanks, Jeroen. Also on behalf of me, welcome everybody. I have the honor to tell you something about process optimization, what it can do, and what it can bring to the table, which value it brings, and also what Jeroen already told is like bridging this gap where is undiscovered value in your platform. Well, this is me. I don't want to stand still for a long time here, but I'm part of the platform intelligence team. One of the things that we cover is process optimization. I won't do any roadmap on this, but one small thing I will tell you is that as of the Vancouver release, so the release that will come in the fall, so September, we will change or rebrand process optimization to process mining, because that's what we're actually talking about, to eliminate any confusion. So we have to reassess a lot of our presentation decks to change process optimization to process mining. So today I will use both terms, and well, slowly in the coming weeks, months, I will try to become more and more eliminate process optimization, go to process mining. You see a map where I'm responsible for. So I'm doing work in Europe, mainly Northern Europe and France, and that's also a nice segue into the next thing that I want to talk to you about, because I want to talk to you about maps. So everybody uses maps. They are highly useful. As a regular maps can tell you where you need to go, or can give you an insight on places you visit. And we also have process maps. That's of course what we want to talk to you about today. Process maps give you insight in how your process looks like. And actually both are very similar. So we have maps, process maps. Both allow you to, for example, zoom in. So you can zoom in a regular map and see very detailed on what is going on in your neighborhood, for example. We can also do this if we visualize process maps and we zoom in, we can really see on detailed level which routes, for example, a process has taken from start to end. Of course, we can also zoom out to get a complete overview. We can do things like discovering bottlenecks. So everybody who uses this for navigation in, for example, their car, they will want to eliminate any kind of traffic jams. Well, that's also what you want to do when you analyze process maps. You want to find those bottlenecks in your process, and you want to eliminate them or circumvent them. And that's ideal for an ideal scenario for process optimization / mining, process mining. We want to find bottlenecks, and eventually we also want to eliminate them. We can do things like, okay, there are multiple ways to get to a destination. So think about you get suggestions on a route to your destination in Google Maps, for example. Well, the same thing applies to a process map. There are always different paths taken, different process executions to eventually come to the same end, like the end of an incident, for example. And so we have different routes to get to the same destinations. Think about circling around on finding parking, as you are running around in circles. For example, try to park your car at 5 o'clock in Amsterdam. You have a hard time finding a parking spot, and you're driving around in circles. Same thing, or almost the same thing, will happen in processes as well. And we have loops happening in processes, and we want to uncover those loops because we want to eliminate those loops. We want to things that, for example, get resolved and then get reopened and resolved again, or going into awaiting caller info. So going back to the original caller of an incident, and then the state goes back to in progress, and we need to reach out again. So again, this awaiting caller info state. Those kind of loops we can visualize, and eventually, if we know where they are, we can attack them to start eliminating them. Finally, also want to talk to you about map layers. Also, that is possible within process mining. So think about different views within Google Maps. You have satellite views. You can have a property market view. You can have a commute view. I really like this one. I don't know if you can see my mouse actually, by the way. But the heat map that you see there is the rat population of New York. So that's a map layer as well. Funny, but we can apply process map layers as well on with process mining. So we can see things like variation. We can do a very detailed analysis with machine learning capabilities like root cause analysis or clustering. We can compare maps, so we can compare two different maps to each other, see if there are any difference between two process executions. And we can do things like very detailed analysis or showing histograms on certain steps or transitions. So that gives you a general idea of where we want to go, and we want to get insights in those processes. And we are talking about process mining, but what actually is process mining? So what are we talking about? Well, process mining actually combines two very powerful fields: process engineering and data mining or machine learning capabilities. So when combined, if you have process engineering and you have process executions, you have information on steps, time, etc., and data mining particularly gets into that insight. So get insights on what steps have been taken on a large scale, combined with time, can really give you deep insight in how processes are executed. And that's very short what process mining is. And to visualize this very basically is think about, for example, this park where there is a pavement here, and probably somebody designed this park, and somebody made this nice stairs, etc. And you need to walk this design path. At least that's the design. But eventually, reality always differs from a design path. And that's not only true in this park, but also true in our business world. So in this case, reality clearly is not the design path, and it also sort of ruins the nice grass there. So probably not an ideal scenario. And that's also what we want to do within processes. We want to visualize where reality differs from the process design. Now, how do we do that? Well, any process has been designed, good or bad, but any process has been designed. And as said, reality visualized, the process map of this designed process will differ. But how do we get there? That's basically through the event log. So if you have a design process and you put it into action, so you implement the process, let's say in a platform as ServiceNow, then this process starts generating data, generates tons of data on how the process was executed, and specifically the life cycle events on a particular process is being logged in the so-called event and audit logs. So think about when you're opening up a single incident. So when you view an incident, you can clearly see if you go to the history, you can clearly see over time what happened with this incident, when it was opened, when work notes were attached, when status changed. You can clearly see sort of event pipeline of this single incident. And actually what process optimization wants to do is look at the pipeline or event pipeline of a lot of incidents or a lot of task-based records to see on a large scale how reality of, let's say, 20,000 incidents look like. And that's what we're doing. We're mining the event and audit log to eventually generate this discovered process map. So that's a very important thing to realize. We don't mine, let's say, incidents. We mine the underlying event log of those incidents. That's where the true, let's say, gold is if we're talking in mining terms. Then why are we doing this? So why are we mining? Well, clearly, this is a nice quote, but the main reason why we are doing this is everybody wants to do better than yesterday. Everybody wants to improve. Everybody wants to do better. And how do you become better? Well, you have to know where you can improve. So do the best you can until you know better, and then when you know better, do better. It's an obvious quote, but how do you know where to improve? Well, that's where process mining comes in. We have a lot of tools on our platform, maybe also outside our platform, but in the ServiceNow platform, we have a lot of tools on getting insights on how to improve. So if we look at the classical analytics, so let's say performance analytics, platform analytics, we can see trend data over time. So we can, if we talk about an HR process, for example, how many people did we hire, which roles did we fill, but also from an incident perspective, what's the mean time to resolve for incidents, and you see trend data over time. As you see, am I improving? Am I not improving? Am I moving towards a set target, or am I moving away from a target? So you can, with analytics, you can see this trend line, and basically what you're doing is you're measuring your KPIs. So you're measuring your KPIs. Are my KPIs in green, or are my KPIs in red or amber? How am I performing? And this could look like the following. So a performance analytics dashboard within ServiceNow gives you insights in those KPIs. You see how you're performing. You see on this particular example, you see the mean time to resolve is in red. So apparently I'm not performing well according to my set target. So I need to improve there. And that's actually the next thing. So okay, I'm not doing well, but how do I improve? How do I get this mean time to resolve down back to my target? When we can do a lot of slicing and dicing in performance analytics, but to really answer that question, we need to go like underwater. So the big part of this iceberg is underwater, and that's where the real answers are. So we can say, where is our process stuck? So if we, for example, see this, let's take this mean time to resolve example. If we see the mean time to resolve increasing over time, then we want to know, like, where in our process are we wasting the most time? Is there any process variance? Are there any reassignments happening? Because that's always not a good thing from a mean time to resolve perspective. So those deeper questions, those are the questions that we want to answer with process mining. And typically, what we say here, so if we are looking at analytics, we are measuring the KPIs. This is one of our own quotes. So with process mining, process optimization, we can really answer the why behind the KPI. So we can visualize those process maps and see where are things being stuck, where is a high velocity, where are those loops happening, where we can drill down into details. We can find root causes for a particular bottleneck. We can identify which records, for example, which type of records go into a particular bottleneck. So we really have a tool set here that can answer a lot of those deeper questions to eventually answer the main question: why am I not performing like I should be performing? A very short intro on a process mining methodology, and this the main reason why I'm showing this is because we have to realize that process mining, a process optimization, is within the platform of ServiceNow. So it is not attached to the platform. It's not integrated to the platform or connected to the platform. It's natively part of the platform. So you have a very fast time to value. You don't need to forklift any data out of the platform to start process mining. You can really start right away. It is, in fact, it is a plugin, or maybe two plugins, because we also have specific content packs for different workflows. So we have a content pack for ITSM, for HR, for field service, for telecom, for a lot of industry-specific use cases. And basically what we do there is we take a ServiceNow workflow, we define the process model, and basically what that means is we say which tables are affected in our process. So if we want to mine the incident process, we typically take the incident table. Maybe we also include the change table, but that we say, okay, look at this table. We don't have to do anything else. We only say, look at the incident table and take, for example, the field state or the field assignment group and start looking from a life cycle perspective, how every incident of the last quarter behaved. And then basically that's it. You can click mine, so it's really with a click of a button, and you can generate those process maps. And then after that, that's where the fun starts. So we can start analyzing, optimizing, continuously improve. So basically, that's what we are doing. We take a workflow, we tell them what data is needed to analyze this process. Eventually, we can use this process map to compare our ideal process with reality. So we can say, okay, my process should look like this. Tell me how my process actually behaved. So that is part of the mining exercise as well. We can set up those predefined use cases. And then we can do things like finding patterns, do those root cause analysis, do clustering. And when we know where the bottlenecks are, we can start using automation. We can apply, for example, okay, this is typically a use case that we can solve with virtual agents. If we have reassignments happening, okay, we can use predictive intelligence there to apply classification, for example, and automatically predict the right assignment group based on historic data. And that's where we continuously improve. So we continuously improve. We implement automation based on what we find, and then after a month we can mine again. We can do the exact same exercise and see if our process map improves according to our previous process map. So we can also compare mining over time, and you should see improvement. And if you don't, then either you didn't implement the automation right, or something else is going on, and then you can analyze there and see where there is new room for improvement, maybe. So that's how you would go about and integrate this into your processes. It's not a do once and forget. It's a continuously mechanism of improvement that should be operational in your organization. Another way of visualizing this is basically we see always 4 phases when we are optimizing a process within ServiceNow. We detect, analyze, improve, and monitor. And basically what process optimization does is it really fills this analyze phase. So we have a lot of tools on detecting where things are going wrong. So let's think about SLA notifications or dashboards, performance analytics, spotlight. We can do a lot of things to improve. So virtual agents, as I just said, implement RPA to maybe connect to legacy systems. Or maybe it could be something like just educate the workforce. That doesn't always have to be real automation. Sometimes it's also about maybe people need updated about new processes. And then eventually we can monitor. We can do things like we have benchmarks, again, performance analytics, continual improvement management. So we can monitor if we did a good way of improving. And analyzing is typically where process optimization comes in. I hope that makes sense. One example of these phases would be a throughput time, the mean time to resolve example I just took. So we can see, for example, in performance analytics, we detect an increasing trend. From performance analytics, we jump to the analyze phase and see in process optimization, okay, we see an assignment group change that led to a 4-month delay. Okay, we need to improve it. How do we improve it? We use classification to predict the right category and assignment group based on all the historic data that we have in the platform. And then we start monitoring if we improve. We create a SIM record. We have KPIs that can track that, and we see if we improve. And then eventually in the detect phase, this upward negative trend should go down again. That being said, we came to the first part that I highlighted. I hope that made sense. This introduction into process mining. Jason will actually show how this looked like in real life, in a live demo. I don't know if there are any questions in the meantime I can answer. If we have anything in the chat. If you have any questions, just post them in the chat. I will monitor that, and if nothing to be answered now, then I'll hand over to Jason.
Thank you, Joost. Yeah, as you just said, I'm going to take over and actually show a demo of the application itself. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So what you see here is the process optimization workspace. So this is the primary interface that we use for accessing our process optimization projects and doing all the analysis. So as you can see, the landing page here, of course, shows us the projects that we have available. I have one. It's a project that is based on the incident assignment group. So let's go ahead and open that up. And so the first thing we get is the summary and insights for our project. You get some metadata here. So how many records were part of this analysis? How many different routes did they take? Average duration, standard deviation, things like that. Here we have a couple of PA indicators shown at the top here, so we can see our average resolution or average time to resolve incidents over time, and the percent of incidents resolved by the first assignment group over time. Then below that, for every process optimization or process mining project, we have three main areas that we can look at here. The first is improvement opportunities. Then we have variation analysis, and then finally bottleneck analysis. Now, improvement opportunities, the cards that you will see displayed here is based on the type of data that you're analyzing. So in this case, we're analyzing incidents, and so there are a bunch of predefined improvement opportunities for incident data. And for this particular project, the fact that we are only looking at assignment group changes and not changes to, for instance, priority or state or CI or anything like that, the application has determined that this is the improvement opportunity, the only improvement opportunity that would apply here. So it's a multi-hop issue, incidents going through 2 or more reassignments. So since we are analyzing the assignment data, this is an improvement opportunity that is applicable to this particular project. After that, we have variation analysis. So this is showing us some of the different paths that our incidents are taking in this project. What we're seeing right now is what they consider to be the highlights. So, you know, based on the number of steps and the number of records that follow that particular path, these are the ones that the application has determined are of greatest interest. And so we can obviously, as you can see, there's a view process analysis button here, so we could drill into any of these and see the map that Joost showed in several of his screenshots that go with these different paths. Then below that, we have bottleneck analysis. So these are potential bottlenecks that were identified. And again, it is by default kind of showing us the ones that are of greatest interest. So here it's telling us that, you know, for instance, the first one is incidents that went from IT Support Americas to Process End. It's saying there's a potential bottleneck here. And you see in this case, like the max repeat occurrences is low because we're using demo data, but in a live scenario, those numbers would likely be much higher. So we can, of course, again, there's view process analysis buttons associated with any of these. So we can go directly to the map, the process map associated with all of these different scenarios, whether we're looking at bottleneck analysis, or variation analysis or improvement opportunities. What I'm going to do right now, though, is I'm just going to jump to the analyst workbench and look at the process map unfiltered. So we're going to be looking at, the entire data set here of all the incidents that were analyzed. And this is our process map that we get for that data. So you can see here we've got the beginning of our process created, the end of our process, and then in the middle we have all of the different paths that were taken by our incidents. Now, by default, it doesn't show you every incident that's in the data set because there's going to be a lot of paths that were taken by very small number of incidents that are just not significant enough typically for analysis. So it's hiding those to make the map much more readable. We can adjust that by going into our model options on the right side here and increasing the percent of connections that we're seeing. So if I were to drag this all the way to 100%, it would, in this case, because of the volume of the data, it would become unreadable. But I am going to increase it just a little bit. I will increase it to 40%, so we get a little bit more detail here. So now you can see that it's added a little more detail. We see a little more activity over on the left side here. Some things to note about the way that the map is rendered. You'll notice that the line thickness varies from one line to the next. That is obviously indicative of the volume of incidents that followed that path. So you can see this one is 4.7K. Over here, the thickest of them all is 6.6K. And then the ones that are lower numbers are much thinner. Something else that is worth noting on this screen is the information and the tools that are available on the left side. So we have, first of all, our breakdown filters. So what that means is that I can filter the incidents that are being used to render the map, excuse me, based on different attributes. So here we can see channel. So, that's how did the incident come in, whether it's self-service, portal, email, etc. We also have available in this model resolution code, assignment group, location, priority, and category. So for instance, I could switch to category and it's going to give me that breakdown so I can see, just by looking at the list, I can see the number of records, the average duration, and the number of routes for each of the different categories. Additionally, I can actually filter on those categories. So I could say, I just want to see hardware. So I can check that box and then I hit apply and it's going to filter it. So now I'm just looking at the incidents that were categorized as hardware issues. And this is the map that we get there. Another thing that Joost did mention that is very useful is the comparison function. So what I can do here is say, okay, this is my hardware map. This is what hardware looks like. Let me look at that side by side with a different map. So I open up the comparison. Now, right now I have two copies of the hardware map, which we can see over here, right? Or I can just hit one applied and it'll show me what filters I have applied. So category is hardware in both cases. But on this side, let's clear that out. And then let's look at our filters. And just for the sake of comparison, let's select software so that we can see what does our software map look like next to our hardware map. So there you can see they're fairly similar, but there are some slight differences in the paths taken by hardware versus software. So you can do that side-by-side comparison here. And then you get your comparison statistics. Here they are, comparison statistics. So we can see, what are the number of records in Model A versus Model B, the number of routes, the average duration, median duration, standard deviation, all that information. So you can get a quick look at how the two models stack up against one another there. And you'll notice that now all of these options that I have on the right have we have two sets, one for model A and one for model B. So for instance, on model B, I could increase the number of connections and get even more detail while leaving model A alone. So that's another thing you can do with the comparison tool there. So let's go ahead and close out the comparison for right now. And let's go back to our unfiltered data set. So remember here, we're now looking at just hardware. I want to clear that out. So I can just hit the clear all button and we'll go back to the unfiltered view. We're still at 40% on the connections, which is good. And something that I'm going to drill in on here is one particular transition. So I'm going to look, for instance, at this transition right here. This particular transition, oh no, I'm sorry, it's this one. It's 1.6K records are going from IT support service desk level 1 to IT support Americas, and it's adding 23 hours to the life cycle of the incident on average. So let's take a closer look at that. And you'll notice that just by clicking on it now, I get this card on the right with some statistics about that particular transition. And then I have some things that I can do at the bottom. So what I'm going to do right now is I want to do a root cause analysis on this particular transition and see if it can give me some information on what may be causing this particular transition to take place. And so it runs that in the background, gives us the results. And here we can see at the very top of the list, IT asset management at a 71%. So it's saying that these records, those incidents that are assigned to IT service or IT asset management, are 29% more likely to cause an inefficiency. So let's drill into that. So I'm going to select that one and click apply. So now I'm looking at just the records that made that particular transition. Okay. And here, okay, we're still at 40%. So here we can see that some of our records went straight through. Others, however, went through this other path here. So something that I can do is take a look at, okay, so it went from IT support services, which looks like a generic group, right, for IT support. And then this is a regional group, IT Support Americas. So if we look at the location of these, right, we can see that only two of them, so we've got one for Hyderabad and one for remote in India. All of the others are based in the US. So what that tells me is maybe I need to change the process, whether it's an automated process or a manual process is sort of beside the point right now. But it looks to me like if I have an incident that comes in and it's IT asset management and the location is within the US, then it should get assigned directly to IT Support Americas. And it doesn't necessarily need to go through this global IT support services group, right? It could go straight to IT Support Americas and skip that step, thereby shortening the time to resolve of those particular incidents. So that's just one example, and it's a pretty basic example, but that's just one example of how you could use the process map and the process optimization tool to improve your processes. I guess if there's any questions about the application or the demo or anything you've just seen, now is the time to bring those forward.
And else, of course, Joost, you can continue with the takeaways and potential next steps.
Yeah, okay. If there was anything being asked, I think Jason will take that. See now one coming in by Frederick. How big should the data sample be before you start drawing conclusions? Well, my take on that would be, and Jason can add on that. But basically, what we want to do with process mining is, in fact, you can improve process mining on 2 records, for example, but then doesn't really it's useful, right? Because you probably can look at 2 records and see what's going on. What process mining is really good at in showing those bottlenecks, which take a long time to analyze. If you want to analyze how, in this case, 26,000 records went from begin to end, and where things get reassigned more time and those kind of things, that's you can do that manually, but probably will take a year, and that's the idea of a data size. That makes sense.
From a more technical perspective, there are limitations on some of these utilities that you have here based on the volume of data. So for instance, I can't run a cluster analysis on this data set because it's not large enough, right? It's only 25K records. I think cluster analysis, I think the minimum might be 100,000. I'm don't quote me on that.
It can be done on that also can be done on a very low number. But also there,
okay.
But so it could be some properties that you need to change there. But
it's possible. But regardless of what the number is, there is a floor, right? So if the data set is too small, and maybe this data set that I have here is not too small, but there will be data sets that are too small for some of those tools.
Yeah. So and basically what we normally take as a sample size when we analyze those projects, because you can have as many projects as you want. We're now looking at one particular project.
Right.
Is around 30,000 records. That's basically what because that you also want to be able to analyze, drill down, do a clustering analysis, for example, or a root cause analysis, and you don't want to wait till it analyzed 200,000 records. You want to be quickly gain those trends, gain those overall trends, and then maybe drill down and create a new specific project to dig deeper. So hope that answers the data question.
Good one. Yeah, we got another good question from Maciej Pisiak in the questions button, guys.
Okay. Let me add. You would like to simulate what would KPI look like after removing. You would like to see what would be the result. Comparison. Yeah, so there are multiple ways of visualizing if a KPI improves. That can simply be done on the level of where the KPI is being placed. For example, on a dashboard, you should see improvement over time. So you can, let's say, use a time date filter to see, okay, this is where we implemented, let's say, a piece of automation to attack a certain bottleneck, and then we should see a positive trend line. So in the case, for example, of mean time to resolve, that should go down if we attack that. We can also visualize this in process optimization itself. So you can also compare process models over time with each other. So Jason just shown a comparison between different filters. So he compared hardware and software with each other. You can also run a project, let's say in right now, July, what is it, 13th? Yeah, July 13th. We find something. We find this assignment issue that some things should go directly to IT Support Americas. We implement the business rule, and we maybe add some predictive intelligence on that to directly get this right to the right assignment group. We implement this. It takes effect. Then we can run the exact same project again, let's say on August 13th, 1 month later, and compare those two models and see if it changed. So see if now everything goes directly to IT Support Americas instead of first going to this general model. Okay, cool. Jason is comparing those models. So that's
Yeah,
a way of visualizing that.
Right. So you can see, so in prepping for this demo today, obviously I had to reanalyze my data set several times in order to get it to where I needed it. So obviously these are, there's 4 on the 12th and 1 on the 11th, but in reality you would likely have them maybe spaced out a week apart, a month apart, depending on how often you regenerate the model or reprocess the project. And you can see that in the comparison tool here, in Model B, we have the ability to select something other than what we have selected in Model A.
Great. I hope that answers your question. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Makai? I'm sorry for probably not correctly pronouncing your name. Sorry about that. I see one chat. Okay, that's Rune. Okay. Any questions? Just keep them coming. I will continue. Can I get this presentation back up? I'm not really familiar with this.
Let me see. If we just.
You should be. I can see it again.
Okay.
I stopped sharing. There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks. So also thanks, Jason, for the demo and the explanation there.
Welcome.
So what you eventually want to do is apply this to your business processes. You want to visualize, you want to gain insights on your business processes, and important to realize is that this can be done on any kind of process within ServiceNow. So we can do that in ITSM, but it is also available in HR, in CSM, we have those specific, let's say, content packs for telco. So you can do it on App Engine use cases. Any process within the Now platform can be analyzed. And we can also do cross-functional workflows. We can also, for example, analyze an HR process and see, and that the HR process might go across HR and go into IT or go into finance. You can visualize that with process mining optimization in one single mining exercise. You can see how those models overflow in each other. And when you get that level of visibility in your platform, then you know where you can do better. Then you know where to optimize. And what's also important, you know where to start optimizing. You can see the impact of potential automation opportunities. You can see where's the biggest gain or potential gain in, for example, duration, or maybe in CSAT or ESAT score. So that's eventually where we want to go. We in ServiceNow ourselves also use it. We have 800 workflows running on our platform, and we continuously analyze those with process mining as well. So we also use the tool ourselves to analyze the processes on our own use cases. So when I do something, eventually somebody is mining that on our platform. What I also want to make you aware of is if you want to get more information on process optimization, process mining, there are a lot of resources out there. So we have on-demand trainings on Now Learning. There are different white papers available. This is the Now on Now story. So how ServiceNow is using process optimization. We have Forbes articles. A specific one that I want to draw your attention to is our community. So we have a very active community, especially on process optimization. Our outbound product manager, Dan Grady, is hosting an academy monthly on process optimization. Handles a very specific topic that might be of interest, or whether it's roadmap or doing those comparison features. One specific feature will be handled in a 45-minute session. Those will be recorded, but so you can play them back, but you can also attend them live. So if you subscribe there, you will be invited to attend live, and you can also ask questions. So you can come off mute and really ask questions if you have any. There are several knowledge sessions available. So last knowledge, we also had a lot of sessions to do with process optimization. So those are available as well. And we have live on ServiceNow webinars that can be that are available for playback on YouTube. So there's a lot of resource out there if you want to know more beyond on what we showed you today. Then finally, for a takeaway and next steps, we have sort of identified 3. So if this is interesting for you, please have a deeper conversation with the cloud people, with us, to see where process optimization can help you, because it's real analytical power within your platform. And because it's in platform process mining, it's a very fast time to value. No need to forklift data out of the platform, rebuild data structures, process structures. It is really available with the click of a button. So have this deeper conversation to see where process optimization can help you. Educate yourself. So take a look at those resources. The academy is the Process Optimization Academy is a very good one. And eventually, the most important one is take a test drive. So the best way of showing the power of process optimization is to try it out on your own data. So the demo data of JSON always works. It always performs. But we can also show this on your own data. And the best way to get insights on your own data and to see, okay, if we start doing this, is a proof of value. We can help you with a proof of value, analyze your own processes, see what kind of automation opportunities and the related impact we can uncover. That's a real eye opener. If you see this happening on your own data and see how fast this can be done on your own data, it's all of the POV engagements I have been in. It's been a real eye opener for all of our customers that are using process optimization. So I would really recommend on reaching out on those next steps as well. And I think I'm at the end of my presentation. I don't know, not sure if there are any more questions popped up. Yeah, I hope you found this insightful. Get you insights on what process optimization can bring to the table, how it can help your business.
Excellent, Joost. Thank you very much for sharing, and just great timing as well. Just enough for me to wrap it up. We're almost at 4. So yeah, and just to zoom a little bit more into what you just what you were just mentioning, so the proof of value part. That's also a let's say an element within the pro data assessment that we're actually performing together with ServiceNow. That looks at what process optimization can bring to your environment based on your data, and takes into account other, let's say, automation opportunities as well, to find out to what extent you can basically improve the quality of your workflows, while at the same time reducing your manual efforts. So we'll send you information about that, obviously also about the resources that Joost was speaking to, and the presentation material. So thank you very much for joining. Let me see a last quick peek on the chat or the questions. If there are any questions, feel free to ask them now. And else, again, thank you very much for joining, and wishing you a great day. Thanks, Joost. Thanks, Jason. Of
Thanks
course,
all.
upcoming webinars. Sorry, Sasha, I forgot. Now, these are just 2 webinars that we are going to host after the summer holiday. Probably also together with ServiceNow. One is about the ServiceNow platform supporting vulnerability scanners, and the end of September, we organized a service operation webinar that discusses a significant customer case in that area, in that space. So obviously also available on our website, this information, but just mentioning it already. Again, thank you very much. And thanks, Joost. Thanks, Jason. Have a great day.
Welcome. Take care.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye, everyone.